Hello and welcome to LociMania, the theory part of the Calcaneus Bone. Here I have the Calcaneus Bone in my hand, which we are going to go through. It lies inferiorly to the talus bone, so it's under the talus bone right here. So we have the talus bone on top, and then we have the Calcaneus Bone below, right there. And this is a right side Calcaneus Bone. How can we see that? Because if you look now, first we look at the heel there, and then we have the sustentaculum tali on the medial side. So there we have the sustentaculum tali on the medial side, and under it, below it, we have a groove, which we'll go through later. There's the talus. We have the lateral facet and lateral process. It lies on top of the calcaneus bone. So that's how you can distinguish what side it is. So here's some view of the calcaneus bone. I'm going to show you which one is posterior and anterior. So here we have the anterior part, posterior part, which has the heel, medial part, and lateral part. Here we can see at the x-ray the lateral part right there, because we can't see the sustentaculum tali, so that's the lateral part. And over that we have the talus, and we have a articular surface for cuboid bone and navicular articular surface for the navicular bone. Just beneath it, right there, as I'm pointing at, we have the articular surface for the cuboid bone, which lies anteriorly. So that was the articular surface for the cuboid bone. Here we have the calcaneus again, talus on top. So let's look at the calcaneus bone. So here's the calcaneus bone, and we're looking at it superiorly. So on top, we're looking at it right now, and let's point out some parts of the calcaneus bone. Let's start with the posterior part right there. Here we have the calcaneal tuberosity. So this is the calcaneal tuberosity, which forms the heel bone. So this is the calcaneal tuberosity right there. If we go further, we can see the medial process. How do you know that it's a medial process? Because we have the sustentaculum tali, and there we have the lateral process on the other side. Lateral process on the other side. Alright, so let's look what we have anteriorly. There we have some surfaces, which I'm going to speak about. The calcaneal groove right there between those surfaces. So that's the calcaneal groove. And here we have the posterior talar articular surface, posterior talar, middle talar, anterior talar articular surface. So once again, posterior talar articular surface right there. That's a posterior talar articular surface, which articulates with the talus bone, middle talar articular surface, anterior talar articular surface, and they articulate with the talus bone. Beneath it, as I said, calcaneal groove. So what's this part here that's pointing out? This is the sustentaculum tali. As we said before, the sustentaculum tali is on the medial side. You can see it quite well. So under that, we have the groove for tendon of flexor hallucis longus. So under the sustentaculum tali, we have the groove for tendon of flexor hallucis longus right there under the sustentaculum tali. Where should we go now? We can see the anterior part here. We also have a facet that is for the cuboid bone. So that's the articular surface for cuboid. As we can see there, there comes the cuboid bone. So that was the articular surface for the cuboid bone. And on the posterior side, we have the heel there. So that was the surfaces that articulates with the talus right there. Posterior, middle, anterior. And then the groove for calcaneal groove. So let's put the calcaneus bone down here, and let's write out the spots or surfaces that you all need to be aware of. So here we have the calcaneus bone once again. So here we have the view from superior. So this is the superior view. Let's start with the posterior part right there. Then the anterior part right there. A process right there. But wait, before I write out all the names and everything, I would like to test you on this bone. So let's just make a pin test of this bone. So let's see here. What is this part? What's this part called? All right, let's go further. So what's that part there? Goes there. What is it called? All right. What is that surface called there? All right. So what is that called there? Okay. And this part here, this surface, and what's this here in between those surfaces? All right. And what is that part here that's sticking out? What is this called? Beneath it we have something. What is that called? That right there. All right, good. Let's go further. You can see it again there. And what's this thing right here, the surface here? Yep, let's go. So that was mostly the pin test. So I hope you all did well. Now I'm going to write down the names. So here we have the calcaneal tuberosity. It's posterior. So the calcaneal tuberosity right there. Exactly. So there we have a process, and it has to be the medial process because we can see this is syntactylum tali. So this is the medial process. So the medial process right there. Let's go further. What is that part that I mentioned right now? That is the sustentaculum tali. Sustentaculum tali on the medial side. Exactly. And let's see what we should choose now. Yeah, let's just take that surface there. So that is the articular surface for the cuboid bone. So that's the articular surface for cuboid bone. It articulates with the cuboid bone. Articular surface of cuboid bone articulates with the cuboid bone. It's pretty logic. And let's see here. Which should we take the... Alright, let's take the part that's underneath the sustentaculum tali there. Exactly. That was a groove, so that's the groove for tendon of flexor hallucis longus. So that's the groove for tendon of flexor hallucis longus. I think it's kind of hard to memorize, but when you're gonna memorize it, you will never forget it. So that was the groove for tendon of flexor hallucis longus. And there it goes, right there beneath this syntactylum tali. So here we have some surfaces, but first I'm going to point out what's between them, and that is the calcaneal groove. So between the surfaces we have the calcaneal groove right there. Let's start with the posterior talar articular surface. So that is the posterior talar articular surface. And after that we have the middle talar articular surface. So that's, and there we have the anterior talar articular surface. So we have three surfaces right there: posterior, middle, and anterior. So posterior talar articular surface, middle talar articular surface, and anterior talar articular surface right there. All right, so let me just point them out there. There we have the articular surfaces, which articulates with the talus bone. Right, let me show you. They articulate right there. Perfect. Don't forget the lateral process. It's on the other side of the medial process. That was all. Thank you, and please come again.